Hello. Welcome, one all. This is a crazy day, but I am excited to be here today because I have a special guest. She's not been on here before, and she's kind of new to our online teacher community. If you are new here, hello, I'm Rachel. So glad you're here. This is Merciful Mornings. This is where you come for education, encouragement, and support for online teaching, but also just daily life. We keep it real here. I want to keep providing things that are helpful for you as you're getting through the day to day, but also those of you that are trying to build your online teaching business. Today is a little bit of both. We're going to talk a little bit about the online teaching stuff, but it's really a lot of daily life too. If you're running your own business, you know it can get hectic and crazy, and you feel like you're trying to do 5,000 things at once. I'm feeling that intensely this morning. So I'm very excited to have this conversation. I am bringing my new Instagram friend, Emily, in today. And she has this fantastic idea that I think goes completely against the mainstream of how to find not like what's the most you can get done in a day to do all the things, but what's the minimum? Like, what's the least? This is my favorite. What's the least amount that I can do and still stay afloat? So I want to talk with Emily about this today. I want you guys to get to know her, find out how you can connect with her. So Emily, you ready? You ready for this?
Ready.
Here we go. Yay! She's here. Hello, new friend.
Hello. I love it when Instagram connections in the DMs somehow come onto either a Zoom call or live or face-to-face chatting. I'm like, this is the best. I'm so excited.
I know. Yay, friends.
Yay, friends.
So, okay, guys, if you join us live, if you're here and you want to ask questions as we're going, drop them in the chat and we'll see those and respond. And if you are team replay, thank you for watching. And I'll be sure to check back for comments and answer any questions you've got too. So we're going to get to know Emily. We're going to get to understand this idea of finding your minimum. And if you want to contact her in one way, shape, or form, all her stuff's in the description box. So be sure to check there if you want to connect with her. Okay, first of all, tell us who you are, because some people are like, who is this chick? We don't know.
How would they know? I mean, who am I? All right. So I'm Emily Schwalbach. I am a wife, mom to 3 boys, 7, 4, and 1. I just aged my middle child a year. He's definitely not 5.
You know, it's okay.
It
You've got 3 boys and you're keeping up with it.
When you have to say their birth dates, like to make an appointment, I'm always like, okay, which one is it? Okay, it's this, blah, blah. Never comes out smoothly. I used to be a kindergarten teacher. I have early childhood education degree. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Had my son. The amount I made in daycare were the same. So, and it was my plan. My plan was always teach, stay home, have the babies, go back to teach when they get to be school age. It was my jam. That was going to be me. I was so excited about it. I was ready to just embrace being at home with my kids and not teaching. And after I had my first son, I realized that I missed that teaching indicator so much. As you know, and people who are watching know, being a teacher is extremely fulfilling. Like,
it's like a piece of you, right?
And you just see light bulb moments every day. You make an impact every day. And so when you're at home with your baby that you love so much, I felt so guilty even admitting I miss that. I miss doing that. I miss my students. I miss my school. I miss talking to adults. And I started managing our family's social media. My requirements and the way that I got the job was because I posted fast. That was it.
Way to be fast.
No marketing, no background in business. You can post fast. So in 2015, that was really, if you knew how to do it, that was it. That was all you needed to know. So I started managing that. I also became a Beachbody coach, which I loved because then I was leading, teaching in some way. That became another outlet. I continued to learn and really enjoyed the social media marketing aspect of that business. I was a terrible Beachbody coach. I didn't like sending hey girl, you're from high school and I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Join my team. Hated that.
Yes. All the hey girl messages.
Couldn't. I'm like, well, I'm the worst because I had a ton of customers, but I could never grow my team, which is really where you reaped the benefits of that business model. And I couldn't figure out how to do it. And so then all of my friends and other Beachbody coaches were asking, so how do you do a story now? I mean, this was mid to late 2017. And I was always watching YouTubes. Okay, how do I change the background on my story? How do I add this? I mean, it used to be one font. There were no other fonts. And so, how do we make it cool? How can we, make it 3D before the 3D font was an option? And I would just teach myself. So my husband finally said, Emily, you need to start charging these people. And I was like, me? For what? Like, wow, no way. I mean, I am not qualified. It was all the imposter syndrome things in your head.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to know everything. You know a step ahead more than other people. And I thought, all right. So I started doing it for $35 an hour. As teachers, I think we see money as just any amount is so amazing.
Right. Like, will you give me $5? I will take $5.
What do you need me to do? The fact that I walked away from a 45-minute session at a Starbucks where I taught this acquaintance how to do Instagram story, and I walked out with $35, you couldn't tell me anything. I was like, well, I'm rich.
Right.
Money.
I am winning at life right now.
Balling out of control with money. And here we go. So it started very small. It has grown into me helping over 500 female business owners, entrepreneurs. I have a membership with my business partner. I do one-on-one consulting, and that was all started to really snowball in 2018. I thought that I made it up. It's not. But again, when I started, that wasn't even, there were managers, but there was no one teaching or strategizing or consulting. But I didn't want to manage because managing gave me hives. So I was like, I can't do that. So then I found my community of people who also did the same thing, and that's what kind of changed the game. So
that's awesome. And I love the whole like entrepreneurial journey, because some people feel like, especially when you get into like independent online teaching, it's like, well, but I don't know what that looks like. I just know that I love this thing and I want to teach other people about it.
Yes.
It's that process of making it happen. Like you just got to stumble on it and figure it out. And so I
fell into it. Tripped and fell. I tripped and fell into entrepreneurship. Didn't mean to.
And that's exactly what happened with me. I was teaching online for a company, and they're like, here's your curriculum. And then I found a way where I could teach whatever I wanted. So I made my own curriculum, and then I found other people that wanted to do the same thing. And the teacher comes in and goes, let me show you how to do this thing.
Let me show you.
And then when people say, can I pay you first? That's like my favorite sentence. When someone's like, can I pay you to teach me to, as a matter of fact, you can.
Absolutely, you can. This is exciting.
Because as we've expressed, you can give us $5 and we
can give us $5. We're here to teach. And that's the thing that I love about what I do is I'm still teaching. It's just my students are older and my classroom is typically in a computer. So it's not in an actual classroom. So it definitely filled that void. I have this indicator. I don't have to worry about sub plans for my kids. There's just a lot of different things that it's still fulfilling, and I do miss the classroom every day, but connecting with other teachers like you helps me stay connected to the teaching world because I miss it so much.
I'm still a teacher.
They're bulletin boards. Everyone show me.
Yes. Okay. Speaking of everyone, I'm looking, teacher Casey is here this morning. Good morning, Casey. And this is Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Good morning to you. And they're having a nice little chat of their own in the chat box.
I love it. Hey, guys.
Susie is here this morning. Good morning, Susie. So we got a good crew hanging out this morning.
Love it.
Okay. So now we know you're one of us.
Yes.
You are teacher at heart, entrepreneur, doing your thing. Let's talk about this minimum, finding your minimum. I want to know how you got here and what this looks like, right?
Okay. So obviously 2020 was a little rough. I was also pregnant, which was a whole other thing on top of that. I'm one of many. The mom that I feel for the very most are the mothers who became mothers last year. And I spent a lot of my time in the DMs with them because I'm like, what you're doing right now should not be the way it's going. What do you need help with formula selection? Do you need tips for sleepers? Like, I just felt for them so much, because me going through it as my third child, being pregnant with my third child, was a completely different experience with all the anxiety and worry that I had. I felt for those first-time moms. So if you had that situation, I pray for you every day. So obviously it was tricky having all the two older boys home and being pregnant. And I, in April, thought, what am I doing? I can't do this. I can't sustain this anymore.
Still trying to run your business from home with children, with child.
Yeah. Like, and I hadn't been pregnant while I ran my own business yet. I started my business when Bo was like 4 or 5 months old. So like, I had never been through the pregnancy, newborn, where you're like, what end is up? And I was so anxious about that already. But knowing that the boys wouldn't be at camps, that they would be with me all the time, and then I would have this baby, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, who cares? Like, what am I doing? I'm going to be done. And then I thought, I'm big on experiments. Like, I always run experiments with my own account for Instagram. I love being the guinea pig for my clients. Like, let me try it and see what happens. And if it goes downhill, then at least it's me and not you. Right. And I thought, what if I just do the very least? Let's see what happens. What if I post once a week? For an Instagram consultant in my world, that's like business suicide. That is not okay. That is not good. That is not a good, example to be shown. But I couldn't manage anything more. Stories have always been easy for me. They're the thing that converts the most anyways for me. So I stayed active on stories. I posted once a week, maybe even less than that sometimes, depending on when it was. And I'm here. And I survived. So I thought, oh my gosh, you can do the least and not stop. And what if instead of this whole hustle culture of, okay, I got to do this, I have to do the most. And then on top of that, which happened earlier this year, as we saw, these gurus saying 3 reels a day, you have to post and then go live. I'm like,
yes, everybody's got their magic numbers, right? Like there are magic numbers and magic. Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, oh my gosh, like these poor business owners are like, what is happening? And I'm like, no. So I kind of created this find your minimum theory and concept, but it can be applied to anything, which I love. But I ran a challenge called the Find Your Minimum Challenge earlier this year, and I took them step by step. So let's figure out, one, what platform you need to be on, because everyone thinks they need to be everywhere. In your life, everyone thinks they need to be everywhere.
Right.
Where do you have to be? Let's think. So for me, Instagram is where I saw the most conversion. I didn't touch my Facebook business thing. I'm a social media consultant, and I'm like, nope, LinkedIn, see ya. Like, didn't touch anything. Just focused on Instagram. All right. Now within that platform, what are the moves you make that you see the most conversion from? For me, stories. Okay. I'll just do stories. So I helped them walk through how they can do the least, but do it better. Like how they can minimize their time, because you don't want to be attached to this thing, and you don't have to be.
Right. Oh, I just louder for the people in the back. I want everybody to hear this who is watching, because I know, especially as you are like gaining in your entrepreneurship, teacherpreneur, whatever you are, there's so much pressure to find your students, find the parents, find your people. So you've got to have a Facebook page, and you've got to have an Instagram account. You've got to be on LinkedIn. Clubhouse is a whole thing that I'm not even touching with a 10-foot pole right now. But this is one of those reasons, is because there's not enough bandwidth here.
No, you can't. As my sister says all the time, she's like, I can't have that on my balance beam right now. And it's my favorite. I'm like, like being the room mom for my son. I really wanted to do it, but I didn't put it in time. And so I didn't. And I'm like, actually, it's probably good. I probably couldn't manage that on my balance beam right now. That's okay. I'll try again next year. But I like to think of it like that. What can we manage? Because Instagram or social media is one part of your marketing strategy for your entire business.
Right.
So when we focus so intensely on this one thing, then that's when you burn out and you throw in the towel and you don't post for a month or two. And you're just like, I'm done. And that's what I want to prevent from happening, because I have met so many amazing women who have the best businesses that help so many people that throw in the towel because this is too much. So I want to share how to can be less, but you can still convert.
Right. And we all hit that point. We all hit that point, like what you talked about of like, what am I even doing? Should I even be doing this anymore? Why is this? What is my life even, right? You know,
I'm a video editor now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we talk about a lot in Merciful Mornings. We talk about having boundaries.
Yes.
Healthy boundaries, being able to say, no, I cannot do the thing right now. And it's okay. It's okay to not do the thing. And for those of us, we've talked before, we are both strong twos. Strong twos. We want to help the whole world.
Yes.
And we have that strong 3 wing where we're going to achieve doing it, right?
Yeah. Be the most competitive helpers.
Listen, fix it, Jesus. I want to help the world with all the things I'm doing. And I know you feel that deeply. And those of us that feel that way, it's hard to say, no, I can't do the thing that would help you right now, because
I just want them to say, it's okay. You don't have to. And it's so much easier. But when we know and set the boundaries. But what I will say is definitely this year, I have learned through my Enneagram type, I did a birth chart reading with one of my other friends, through boundaries are like the key to me not losing it.
Yes.
So I have to do that. And so I know that if I'm feeling this, being in my world, that people who maybe don't know the best strategy or the way to condense their time think that they have to do all these things to be successful. And it's wrong. It's false. And I'm proof of it because I've done it. I mean,
we have the case study right here.
I mean, if people want to get after it, like, I'm not the account to follow. If you want to feel good and feel confident and get the reins back and I give you the control, like, that's me. That's my account. I make you feel good about whatever it is that you do, because sometimes that's all we can manage is whatever you can handle. And that's good, because it's kind of like when you hear about people running and they're like, oh, I went so slow. And it's like, hey, you're lapping everyone on the couch. And it's the same thing. Some people aren't using Instagram at all whatsoever for their business and really missing out on an awesome opportunity. But the fact that you're showing up once a week is better. It's whatever you can do consistently. And consistency, I found, was the best. My audience knew that I wasn't posting more than once a week, and they stayed because it was consistent. It wasn't, oh, shoot, I have this sale that I want to do and I have to promote it, so I'm going to post a ton. But the launch was so tiring, so I'm going to just stop after the week. And then
launching.
Consistency, it's trust. There's so much trust in the Instagram psychology and the strategy of marketing in that space, that if people can trust to see you show up in whatever way that is, the amount doesn't matter. That's what you figure out. But if it's consistent, that's what's dependable, and that's what makes people trust you, and then they pay you. That is it, all wrapped into one.
There we go. That was it. That's all we need. That's it.
There we go.
Okay. So we've talked about, for business, we've talked about social media because that's your jam, but you did mention like this can be applied, and we've talked about being, special ed moms, dealing with ADHD. We have all that. So what does this look like, finding your minimum, as a business owner? We've talked about, what about finding your minimum, like as a mom, as a teacher, what does that look like?
So as a mom, I have tried to just set the bar lower. So I will look at the day, and I think as a teacher mom, especially in the summer, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to really capitalize on this time. I don't want them to stop learning. I want them to do all the things. Yeah. So for me, routine is everything. I am ADHD medicated very thankfully now that I'm done having children, so I can, yay for that.
Yes.
All the strategies, I've done all the research, but I am back on it after being off it for 7 years. And that was something that I really needed to do. And I like to advocate for and talk about, which you can DM me and we can chat about ADHD meds all day long. If anyone needs to. But I think that really looking at the day, again, thinking, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to get done? Okay, that has to get done. Now, these other things are bonuses. So then that makes my little, wing 3 that's competitive and wants to achieve the most.
The checklist.
Yes, the checklist. I get the sub checklist of, okay, the main things got done that had to get done. All right. So if we do this one activity, that's like a bonus for the day. And it helped my mental state not feel that mom guilt, because I have that tenfold of not doing enough, not being enough. And I think that social media is another thing that hinders that, because I will look and see friends or other accounts that I know, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's such a cool mom activity, and I'm not doing anything. We're watching Sonic.
They stayed home and made homemade Play-Doh today, and
I didn't do any of that, and I didn't. So another thing that I did was in that time, and I go through waves of it, and when I am in that, I need to find my minimum at home now too. I am very mindful of the accounts that I follow. And I utilize that mute button, because I am also a 2. I don't like to make anyone upset. I don't want to tick anyone off. I want to make sure everything's copacetic. So muting someone, they don't know that that you're not watching their stuff, but you don't follow. So it's a really polite way of being like, I can't see your stuff. You stress me out. Because sometimes they're my friends. Sometimes they are people that I love. But I can't see you do another craft that I just cannot do with my 3 children at home right now. I can't. So you are in control. I think a lot of people blame social media and their Instagram's the worst and they give me mental this and that. It can, but you're in control of that.
You kind of have control of that.
You kind of do. So, so not having the notifications go off, if you are running your business on this app, you need to set business hours around Instagram, just like you would an office. Because for us, we work from home. So it's like, what is our office? For me, this is my office. So if I'm available at all time, that is a one-way ticket to burnout. And then I can't be there for my kids. Another just work from home thing that I do all the time is all screens on and all screens off. That helps me get done work.
I love that one. That's right now. I got a kid watching Sonic the Hedgehog in the other room.
All on screens and it's all okay. But when the screens are off, we're all off. And that way I don't feel the mom guilt, the screen time mom guilt, which just to say, whatever you guys got to do to get through the day, you give them the screen time, they're fine. I was the 4th. I sat in front of the TV and I think I'm all right. I mean, who knows?
Turned out okay.
I'm doing okay. So I think that you just have to look at your day, see what has to get done. Don't put everything you want to get done and you aspire to get done on the list, because that's when you get ticked off and mad, and then you're the worst, and then all the bad negative thoughts happen. That's how you can find your minimum as a mom. As you said, my middle has speech issues, and I got to find my minimum with him, just so that I don't want to push him. I know that he has a threshold too. So, but I do find that the more I am mentally stable regarding this and my business, the better, more patient mom I am. I know as teachers, we all have like this different kind of patience. Whereas like my husband will be like, how can you listen to that one more time? And I'm like, Lori Berkner's my girl, and I will listen to her over and over again. I don't care. But he has like an auditory repetition thing, whereas teachers, all we do is say the same thing.
Like that's life. Repetition is life.
That is how we do things. So I think that it's harder for people who aren't teachers to have that kind of threshold. But I know my mental stability helps me to maintain this kind of more control over the day.
Yes. I love Victoria said validation message received. That's what we do here. I just want to validate you as a human being, a mom, a teacher. And we talk a lot in this community about how to get organized, how to prioritize things. A lot of this is priorities and boundaries. If you are figuring out what's the most important, what's the most urgent. that goes at the top. Those are the must-dos for the day, and everything else is gravy.
Absolutely. And one of my friends, when I had my second child, I was like, but what do I do if they both need something? And she said, whoever has the biggest fire, that's who you go to first. So,
right.
you know, if a kid just dumps all of the cereal everywhere, but one just stubbed his toe and he's crying, the cereal can sit. You go do the stub toe.
Right.
Then
it feels like the whole house is on fire, right?
Like everything's on fire, but who has the biggest flames?
Yeah.
First priority.
I love that. I love that. Biggest flames need to be put out first, and then you get to the littler ones
One
later.
thing at a time.
Yes. Okay. So tools wise, and we're going to wrap up with this, guys. Listen, I think Emily and I could just talk all day long, but we're not gonna, so don't freak out. But I'm very openly in love with Asana. I use Asana for all the things. It keeps me on track in every aspect of my life, but I'd love to hear if you have specific tools that have helped you in this realm.
So I am going to start using Asana because I have hired an online business manager for my business, which is like, what?
Awesome.
What do I tell her to do? She tells me what. That's the difference. A VA OBM, my OBM tells me what I need, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. So she is.
I need that. I need that.
And I'm like, oh, Asana, teach me how to do that, because I've heard such great things about it. I've opened my account before, but I haven't done it. Honestly, I use the notes in my phone.
Yeah.
And I do my days. And on Sunday nights, my husband and I sit down and we go through the week. This is something that we did a lot and then we stopped, and now we're getting back into it because I don't know if you listened to Glennon Doyle's podcast, but she talked about how as mothers, we have all of these tickers like CNN running through our head of everything that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it's almost offensive when our sweet husbands say, what can I do to help? And it's like, you don't even know what's on the list. And you're like, you don't know. So we have made it a point to sit down on Sunday and I get to say verbally out loud what the list is.
Here are all the things.
That are happening. Feel free to take any. So he's taken some tickers off of my plate, which has been very helpful because sometimes it gets very overwhelming. So that is something that I have done. We've looked at all the things that have to be done for the house, for the boys, for our life, and sorted out different things like silly. But for instance, he's taken over haircuts. I don't do haircuts. I don't schedule them. I don't do them. I don't take them. He doesn't.
Listen, it's a thing. It's a thing on the list that has to happen.
I don't think about. He doesn't think about doctor's appointments. He doesn't go. He doesn't know when they happen. He doesn't know anything. I make sure that they go to the doctor. So, different things. But I use the notes on my phone. I like it that it can be here. I like it that it can be on my computer. I use the little circles that I can tack it on the list. Whatever doesn't get done gets moved on to the next day. And then great.
Yes. So you're going to love Asana. I'm just going to say you're going to love Asana. I love Leah's here saying hello this morning as well. And she says, love me some Asana. I get blamed a lot for other people that start getting addicted to Asana because I'm like, ooh, do you not know? Let me teach you. To the point that I've made trainings for teachers and work from home moms. Like here's your personal secretary. Because you can take all those, like you said, all those things ticking through 24/7 and you assign them to dates. And then it's out and you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yes.
So it's like, there's this thing that needs to happen
somewhere. Yes.
Yes. But I've assigned it to myself on Thursday. So I don't have to think about it.
I love it. I love that.
So great.
I will love it. I already know I will. And another thing I like to do, which is just in my ADHD, I will sit in front of my closet and think about what to wear for so long. I have since I graduated from high school, because in high school I had a uniform. I lay my clothes out the night before. I've done it since I was 18. I do it for all of my boys. I do everything I can possibly do the night before so that the mornings aren't angry mornings. Because we want to send them off in a happy way and not an angry way. So it'll happen. But if I can get the most stuff, anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated is already put, the snacks, everything is laid out. I have to have that done the night before so that the mornings aren't as crazy. And that makes me a much better mom.
I'm the same way. And my kids actually, now my son, he's got a lot of going on. He's got the ADHD,
Yes,
a lot
yes,
of things.
yes.
But he like requests the checklist. Like he wants to know what to do every morning, item by item.
What's the plan?
Yeah. And so with a combination of that, like getting things prepped, he's got his list. I'm like, we can do this, you know?
We can handle this day because, guys, we have all survived 100% of our bad days.
Exactly.
We have a really good success rate. So
that's right. We're doing the things. Like, look at us go.
Pandemic.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love all this. Last thing about Asana, you are going to love, if you haven't already heard, when you get to check things off, there are magical rainbow creatures that zoom across your screen. Like literally a unicorn will fly across your screen. Like, great job, you just did whatever it was.
I am a words of affirmation gal. So
it makes me so happy.
Great job, a magical unicorn telling me that, I will get all the things done.
It's pretty much awesome. Yeah, I'm like, I need a unicorn. Let's get this thing done.
I love it.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for this. Like Victoria said earlier, it's good just sometimes to have the validation, just to hear like, it's okay to do the minimum. It's okay to get through on what you can do and go from there. So if you needed that message, I'm glad you were here today. If you want to connect with Emily, be sure to check the description because she's got her website there. There's a special coupon code for the membership.
For our membership. Yeah, it's ongoing. If you want to stay up to date with all the things, but don't have, a bajillion dollars to join a mastermind or something like that. We are not only social media mentors, but we are business mentors. We've been running this thing for a while now and running our own businesses and learning how to do it more efficiently. We are messy bosses turned, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, you really, I love it. I love it.
Shannon and I, Shannon McKinstry is my business partner. We just make moves and we go. So yeah, $20 off your first month and cancel at any time. It's like Netflix, but there are over 40 training videos in there over everything, social media, mindset, business, financials.
Listen, it's been on my radar for a while. I'm like, I keep eyeballing it and I'm like, I need this. I need this in my life.
We'll do a Zoom and I can just show you the back end of it too. There's a whole portal tour on our website too at socialsquadsociety.com. We are very, we lift the veil. We don't hide anything. We say, if you don't like it, cancel. Like, you just cancel. That's all you do.
I love it. And that's how I roll. I'm like, here's what it is. Do your thing.
If you don't like it, you can leave and we'll say, good luck, have a great time.
And y'all have an event coming up in October.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. So for all of our members, you can come and to DC. We have an event. It's going to be awesome. We have a complimentary Reels workshop where Shannon and I will be trimming, editing, having our, stands there and our ring lights and everything so that we can actually help people create content right then and there at that workshop. So
awesome. So many good things. Okay, y'all connect with Emily, jump in the DMs, as we say.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me, Rachel. This was amazing. So fun.
All right. If y'all have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.